security. Like now it's not raining. So you might think, oh, it's going to be a nice day. I'll just be a bit sloppy in the way I put my camp up. I guarantee if you do that, 2 o'clock in the morning, the most horrendous downpour will show all of your faults. Their hammock really was that simple, just strips of bark. Not that Saul seemed concerned. He was a real showman.
Saul's gone to sleep.
This is the way we do things. When we travel in the forest, we can't take our big hammocks from home. It's very important for us because we have to hunt and fish, and for that we have to go into the forest for many days. We can't buy food in the forest, and we've no cattle ranches. We have to hunt, and for that we need a hammock to sleep in.
As much as it's nice to be in a village, I can't help thinking it's much better to be here in the forest. I love it. Here I can really take care of myself. The temperature, it's warm, it's sticky, but somehow it feels right. You feel just so much alive. And all around me, there's life. In the gloom last night, I was collecting a bit of firewood and I saw this, what looked like a palm tree. Thought I'd just chop that out of the way. Had a bash, only to discover it was a piece of aluminium aircraft fuselage from that crashed plane just up the river there. Made a dink out of my parang with that. I'm not too happy about it. The machete is the most important tool in the forest, and yesterday I heard a story that really illustrates that. There's a story of Yekuana people travelling down this river when their canoe was about to turn over in some rapids, and there was this terrible momentary pause when one of the men had to make the decision. Does he take his pack with all his food and his cooking equipment, or does he take his machete? Well, of course, the choice was obvious, and he took the machete, because with that and what he knows about the forest, he can find life here. This is a very important tool here, but it's also worth bearing in mind that the machete or the parang is the most dangerous tool we use in bushcraft because the length of the edge is so great. There's tremendous potential to bite us. There are a few things we have to know. The first is we need to keep it sharp. So every day on a daily basis you sharpen it. For that I carry with me a small sharpening stone, combination stone like this. But if I didn't have that, I could use a pebble from the river. Probably the best way to show you how to use a machete is to make something. And we need a bench to go in our camp there so we can sit comfortably by the fire in the evening, and that's what I'm going to make. To start with, I've cut a small stick to give me a measure for some of the pieces I'm going to need. And I need to cut some strong supports. I use a measuring rod and we just put a mark on there. That's where I want to cut it. I'm going to need a point on the end. So rather than cut through and then point it, we'll do it all in one go. And this is something that you can really only do with a strong, stiff machete. It's to cut like so. All ready to go. Perfect. So that's one. Rainforest saplings are fabulous building materials. They're straight and strong. And when you need rope, you just split a liana or two. With a bench as long as this, you need to put an extra support in the middle. Now, we lock it off. That gives a lot more support. What I'll do is I'll lash this on here. Everything locks together solid. Now we can sit comfortably and enjoy the fire. Having somewhere to sit down makes life a lot more comfortable in any environment, but particularly in this one, with all the termites and ants crawling around on the forest floor. With my camp well established, I was ready to take a better look at Kanerakuni and find out more about where Luis, Saul and Benito came from. These villages are like islands in the Pacific. That's how cut off they are from modern life, though there were bizarre reminders everywhere of the world outside of the forest. About 120 people live here. Most of what they do is subsistence living, but they're also known for their baskets, which they trade.
Primero se hace el color blanco, ¿no?
Everything we use comes from the rainforest. The basic material for the baskets comes from a vine. The pigment comes from a palm tree, which looks very like a banana tree. Some of the drawings on the basket are purely ornamental, but some of them have mythological meanings. According to ancient tales, there was a god on earth who kept birds. He sent the birds into the sky with a long string and some glue to drag the stars from the earth into the sky, and that's how the stars came to be in heaven.
Bushcraft encompasses many skills and crafts. The huge communal building in Kanerakuni is an impressive piece of collaborative construction. Great proof of the power and skills that bushcraft encompasses. I'd already seen how Luis and Saul worked together. To build this, the whole village must have helped. Life in Kanerakuni is a mixture of change and tradition. They still paint themselves for special occasions. This bakery provides the staple food, a dried bread made from manioc root.
We think we are close now to being owners of our own land. This means we'll have more power to defend our rights. We've seen other communities that weren't so lucky. They lost their culture and they were thrown out of their land in some cases. We don't want that to happen to us. We want to continue our traditions and culture. So we'll mix in a little of some of the new ideas. But we'll do it slowly and we'll decide for ourselves what we want and what we don't want.
But the modern world is steadily encroaching, and they are aware that they must be strong to deal with it. I was touched by their generosity.
It's beautiful wood.
Muy bonito madera.
Muchas gracias.